Hi, I'm Kevin Holm-Hudson, Associate Professor of Music Theory at the University of Kentucky and author of the textbook Music Theory Remixed, a balanced approach for the practicing musician, published by Oxford University Press. In this video, we consider the motive. What is a motive? You'll find more information about this in Chapter 12 of Music Theory Remixed. A motive may be thought of as a building block in a musical texture. It is the smallest unit from which one might build a theme, for example. I like to think of motives as being like Legos. You can use Legos to build very intricate structures, but as any parent knows, you really can't break a Lego. If you step on a Lego, you're more likely to break your foot than you are to break the Lego. And that's pretty much how a motive works. It is a small, independent, indivisible kind of building block from which we can create a larger texture. One of the most famous examples of a motive occurs in Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Now, in that famous opening, the motive is heard some 13 times in just the first 20 seconds. And of course, we all know the motive is this. We just heard it a number of times. We can break up that motive into two different elements. There is, for example, the melodic motive, which is simply those two notes. That descending third can be heard as a motive. There's also the rhythmic motive, which is very important in Beethoven's example. 3 short notes and a long note. Short, 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 long. So we can have the rhythmic motive while other things are done with the melodic motive. For example, the motive could be sequenced, which is to say that that third interval is shifted up or down to other pitch levels. So if I do something like this, I am sequencing that third by bringing it up or down. The composer Thelonious Monk also used motives quite frequently. One of his most famous examples is a tune called Well You Needn't, which was composed in 1944. You'll find more information about Well You Needn't in Chapter 2, and specifically this discussion is found in one of the web features for the text online. Web feature 12.2 addresses how the motive is used in Well You Needn't. So I won't be notating it up here, but I can demonstrate how the motives work in that piece at the keyboard. The tune sounds like this. That's the first part of the song, and we can already break up this theme into several motives. One might be that little half-step introduction to the tune, which then joins onto an arpeggio or a broken up chord. So there's our arpeggio. Minor second, arpeggio, and then this little 2-note kick that's at the end. So those 3 elements make up much of Well You Needn't. We have the minor second, the arpeggio, the kick. The second phrase gives us the same thing. The minor second, arpeggio, and a different kick. Different little 2-note figure. Then we go back to the first statement with the first little kick at the end. And then the last phrase takes the minor second and part of that arpeggio and puts that together. And we could say that that little segment is a truncation or a fragment of our opening statement. If our opening statement was this, the truncation just gives us this. So the first part of the tune consists of those elements, and we go through those elements 2 times. When we move into the middle section of the song, or the bridge, Monk takes that truncated figure we had and he sequences it. Again, he's going to be moving it to other pitch levels. So the first one we get is this. And then we hear it this way. And then he starts to move it, continuing upwards, and then back downwards. So that entire middle section is made up of the truncation, and what he's doing with that is he is sequencing it. And we go back to the beginning. Now, in that middle section, there's also something else going on that's rather interesting in terms of the harmony that is supporting the truncated figure. If we put in the bass, and then the next one, you notice that we are moving chromatically. We're moving by minor second. And remember, the minor second is one of our elements in the tune. That minor second element becomes part of the harmonic underpinning for the middle of the song. And if that in itself were not impressive enough, when we go to the version of Well You Needn't performed by Miles Davis, and you'll find much more of a detailed analysis of this in Web Feature 12.2. But Miles Davis's solo also uses all of these elements that we heard in the theme. He's improvising his solo, but his improvisation is built around these very fragments. So let's hear how that solo goes. So just taking that first phrase, we have a little minor second idea, arpeggio. Then we get another arpeggio. Then we get an arpeggio ornamented with our minor second. And then we get another arpeggio elaborated with the minor second or approached from the minor second above. Second phrase. Emphasizes the minor second. Here's our minor second and arpeggio. So in Miles Davis's improvisation on Well You Needn't, he is continually reminding us of the tune on which his improvisation is based. It's a really interesting way of working with motives and using motives again to build larger musical structures. I'm Kevin Holm-Hudson, and this is Music Theory Remixed. You'll find much more about motives, including a more detailed study of Miles Davis's Well You Needn't and how he uses motives in Chapter 12 of Music Theory Remixed.